Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of Fighting with the Family. So, this is the really big, awesome poster that I received at tonight's screening. Fun stuff, right? But it's huge. Way back in the day, back in the late 90s and early 2000s, I used to be a pretty darn big WWE fan. I had the action figures, I had like the little ring, I used to pretend I was a wrestler on my trampoline. I even had like the CDs so we could make the entrances and the whole bit. I used to love the WWE. However, it's not really something I kept up with at all, but it still holds a very special, dear place in my heart from my childhood. Funny enough, The Rock was all of the rage when I was a kid, and that's what made it a little bit even extra fun to see him in this film. See him with the hair back and all those old videos. It was great. But I haven't kept up with wrestling in a long time, so I didn't even really know who Paige was, like, at all. But I thought the trailers for this film actually looked fun, funny, heartwarming. It seemed like a nice little movie to be a part of. So I was actually looking forward to going into this film, even though I'm not a wrestling fan. And I have to say, I thought this was a very good film. So let's go ahead and talk about the positives first. I thought our actors were all really good in this film. Starting off with our lead, sorry, I'm gonna butcher this last name, Florence Pugh. I thought she was great. She was very likable. She came across really nicely on screen, and she had a lot of vulnerability that I appreciated. She was able to really handle some hefty themes within her character that I thought were done expertly well. Jack Lowden plays her brother, and he was so good in this movie. I thought he was actually fantastic in his role, and he, once again, is asked to take on some really dark, deeper themes within his character, and he just displayed them in spades on the screen. Nick Frost and Lita Headey play our two parents, and they are also so good. They provide for a lot of the comedic moments in the film, and they were wonderful each and every time they were on screen, and they certainly hammed it up. But they hammed it up in a fashion in which you're thinking, yeah, I still know those people. I still know those over-the-top, kind of ridiculous, crazy, but proud and fun parents. I know them. Vince Vaughn was so good in this film. Of course, he has a lot of great, just like zingers, one-liners that work so well. I loved his back and forth with our main character. And he, too, was able to add a few layers of depth in what could have easily just been a very standard one-note role. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is also here, but it's basically a glorified cameo because he's the producer of the film. Can't talk much about that. But really, the actors from the minor characters all the way up were really solid. And then we get to the script, which I think was really well done as well. It hits every single note you're hoping it is going to hit. It's really funny. There's a lot of laughs to be had. Nothing that'll have you like rolling out of your seat, but you're constantly like smiling and chuckling. It's really nice. Plus, as I said before, it goes deep and it gets to those heartwarming moments, but also those heartbreaking moments. And I think it was really interesting to watch our main character Paige's development and how her guilt and self-doubt really played into this onstage persona, and it just worked. Same thing with her brother, him grappling with the disappointment, the envy, the anger, as well as the happier stuff, the pride being that motivation. And when the film does dare to go to those deeper parts, I think that's some of the most successful moments of the film. Then we get the laughs to make sure we never get bogged down in like this dreary bore. The wrestling is also very fun to watch, and I think wrestling fans in particular are going to really enjoy watching the wrestling moments because they are exciting, even as you watch them kind of stage it and plan it all out. What they do well is show the craft that is still needed to pull these things off. And I think that's what wrestling fans are going to love, is that while you're not getting real like punches in the head, You're still getting a lot of physical contact. There is a lot of physicality needed to pull off these stunts, a lot of coordination. They did a great job of showing off the work and effort that is needed to be a pro wrestler in this fashion. So, what does the film not do so well? Well, the biggest negative that hampers the film is that it's completely formulaic. It does not deviate even in the slightest. You know where we're going, you know how it is all going to end, and it sticks straight through to that path. And I have to say, once we hit that down point in the story, the where do we go from here moment that all of these type of stories have, I think the script weakened because now we're not really pushing through things. We're not really exploring what's going on here. Everything is just kind of like solving left, right, and center. And that was a little bit of a disappointment because I thought that they had handled the development of these darker, deeper issues so well that I wish they would have taken more care in building it back up to where we needed to go. And instead, we were left with very little development, very little actual progression, and it left it feeling not only rushed, but slightly unbelievable because it was such a dramatic change across the board in everything. Also, when it comes to some of the more technical aspects of filmmaking, it's very bland, if you will. The cinematography is nothing to look at, honestly. The film work and the editing itself are pedestrian with kind of that standard, more sitcom style lighting. It doesn't really have a style, per se. But that's not to say it's ugly. It looks fine, it just isn't elevated. And I was fine with that. And I think it handles the formula well. It handles this generic sports film, outsider type of story well. And it really drives home the emotional punches it needs to land. It's a beautiful story about family and appreciating family and gaining confidence in yourself, whether that be in your role or to reach your goals. And I think both of those are handled with both of the siblings so well. And this is going to endear wrestling fans, non-wrestling fans, people who just like kind of inspirational feel-good movies. This is one you're definitely going to want to check out. It pushes all the right buttons it needs to push, and it makes for a really, really enjoyable film. I say give Fighting with the Family a full price ticket. It was a really nice time at the theater. So that is my review of Fighting with the Family. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Fighting with the Family? And what is your favorite film revolving around the sport of wrestling? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!